Hi, everybody. Happy Thursday. Thank you for stopping by. This is Marti Hampton Real Estate. Marti Hampton here. And today I've got my special guest, Martha Cho, who's been with us for 10 years.
Oh, wait.
And, excuse me. See, time flies when you're having fun. But let me tell you about Martha. Martha used to be a kindergarten teacher, which plays very nicely in the arena of real estate. But honestly, she's one of the most professional agents I've ever had a chance to work with in all my 30-something years of real estate. She has a high degree of professionalism. Her expertise is something that I think I would want a family member to work with her. She's somebody I'm very glad to have on my team and by my side. She's just been an enormous help to our team, and she's a great agent. She's a great person, so enjoy her. But the beginning of Mindset, I want to tell you today, we're just going to answer some questions, and I'm hoping you've got some questions. Martha's got some questions that we've gathered from our team, from agents that are in the business, been in the business for a while, just agent questions. So I want you to join in. This is 3 Agent. We're live here every Thursday at 1 o'clock with other great agents such as Daniel Beer, Kyle Whistle, Tina Call, Amy Wienans. There's just a lot of great agents that want to have the opportunity to give you some of the things that we've learned over the years that might help you move forward in your career. So if you have a question, I'd love to hear from you. Type it in the chat. I'd love to know what market you work from, mainly. I'd love to have you type that in. And we are going to have a few minutes at the end of the session to answer your questions. But don't wait till then. We want to know you're there. So join us. I don't like to feel alone. Martha.
Marti, what an introduction. Thank you so much. And I'm so grateful for you, too. And all these burning questions that our team had for you. We'll start easy, but Marti is such a busy businesswoman. She's either training or giving advice, researching, and trying to keep up with the market. So her time is very valuable. I like changing it up from your regular weekly webinars. So let's start easy. Marti, what's your favorite color?
Oh, goodness. I like blazing colors. Like, I can't give you one, but I like reds. I like pinks. I like dominant colors.
Okay.
Maybe because I'm a dominant personality, you think?
Yeah. I'm trying to learn from you because, as you can see, black. All I have is black in my closet. But yes, I love all the colors that you wear.
And by the way, that wasn't on my list of questions.
But you know what? I'm sure people are dying to know, what is Marti's favorite color? So what made you get into real estate, and what made you stay so long? What keeps that love for real estate alive?
You know, I think I've told this so many times, I'm just afraid that everybody's heard this, but I was 25. I had 3 children under 5 years old. And I had failed marriages. And I said, I was head of household. I didn't have family support. I didn't have siblings. There was no other avenue for income. And I looked at myself and I said, what are you going to do to raise these children? And I thought about the gamut of things out there, and real estate came to mind. So I got my license. And then the second thing that happened is when I've told this story before, when I got all the kids raised and paid all their college education, I almost quit real estate and went to South Florida and wore flip-flops and maybe became a bartender or a cocktail waitress.
Are there things that she has never told me? She always says, I'm a woman with a past.
I do. But I decided all those years I had done it for the family. And I said, well, what could, you might be halfway good at this. Maybe you can do something for yourself. How far can you take this thing? Mm-hmm. So that's what got me to the next step.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Someone else wanted to know too, and we have follow-up questions to what you just answered as far as what made you stay and all that. But someone else on our team wanted to know, Marti, what do you read or look at to keep up with this ever-changing real estate market? How do you learn? How do you do it? Like, especially if you're not good with numbers, or how do you do it? And, where do you go for those resources?
Well, the only number that I'm really good at is commissions. I can do it fast. But we can't talk about that. But the numbers, you find somebody that's good with numbers. You get in step with a mortgage lender. You don't have to be good with numbers to be in real estate. You just have to know where to go to get the information. So keeping up with real estate, that's one of the best things about EXP. Frankly, they put more education out there than you've got time to listen to. So you go through the options of education and you say, okay, I really relate to this. I really want to hear that. I really want to hear that. And I do listen to a lot of John Sheplack. I think he's probably the top trainer in our industry now, so I like that. But EXP has been good as far as education. And then Inman. Inman has got just a regular thing that you can sign up for. I think it's a couple $100 a year, but there's one that's $2,500 a year.
That's crazy.
that would be on my wish list.
Gold nuggets, right? We don't know because we didn't pay that $2,500, but I do know Marty reads every single one of her emails and texts, and she answers the phone. If you call the number that is being marketed for Marti Hampton Real Estate, she is answering the phone. And quite often, our sellers and buyers that reach out to us, they're so surprised. This is the actual Marti Hampton. So you do try to keep up with all the goings-ons and the new technological advances and all that. So
the reason I do that a lot of times, I don't want anybody that ever works with our team to think that they're just a number here. I want them to be able to get in touch with me at all times. That's important to me.
Yeah, it is. It has always been important to you. And what strategies do you use to stay motivated during challenging times? So not only you've had many great moments, but what do you do, or what can you help us, advice-wise? How do you stay motivated during challenging times? And how did you overcome periods when you felt lack of motivation or defeat
defeat? Is, you need new shoes when you feel defeated.
Oh, that always helps.
No, the thing about it is staying motivated. Right now, I think the thing that motivates me most is the people that I work with. Because you get to a certain level where, it's all about the people that you work with and their lives, and how can you create something that will allow them to move forward to a higher level that they're in. And that's hard work. It's really hard work to do that. So I'm motivated at this point in time by the people that I work with. Overcoming periods of low motivation. Honestly, I've had very little of that in my life. I don't want to tell you that I'm always on 100%, but when you've got a family to feed and you got rent to pay and you don't have parents to lean on and you don't have another income to lean on, it puts you in a position of you got to make it.
Right. Right.
So I guess that would be it. Just a responsibility. I haven't shirked responsibility at this point. So responsibility, I think, is a commitment to that responsibility.
Right. And that's motivation enough, right? Those mouths you have to feed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your why. Have you ever had a transaction though that almost got you to that breaking point? Like, I don't know if I can do this anymore.
Well, there's definitely been some hurtful transactions. So, I tell people there's too many to go for, but here's the thing about transactions. If you've got 10 transactions on the board and one falls off, it's not as bad as having 2 transactions on the board and one falls off. So you always want to have, real estate is never made by one deal. Your real estate career will never be broken by one deal. So surviving it is hard when you give your all and then you have the person on the other end still thinking poorly of you, that you haven't done your job. That's hard to take when you've given your all, but you have to do it. You have to go forward past that hurt, and you have to look in the mirror and say, what did I learn? What can I do better? And if I made a mistake, I won't ever make that mistake again.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I agree completely. Everything's a learning opportunity, right?
Yeah.
In good ways and bad. And then as a team member, what would you say some of the places where, like money spent or effort, where would you say the most important aspects would be to spend your time, money, and energy on, whether it's like postcards or events in a neighborhood or things like that. What would you say are probably where agents should focus on?
I think your number one avenue for spending money should be on signs. And I think you ought to be cognizant that your job is to get as many signs up in the community as you possibly can. Open house signs are good. People, they want to shirk open houses and not put up but a few signs. I've got an agent that does a great open house. She does one Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday. She's got that house sold over the weekend. She invests in those open house signs. Half of them get stolen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but she does it anyway. So I would spend my money on signs, open houses, and then I would be an area expert. There's markets where there's the condo king, the condo queen. Mm-hmm. So that agent in that market knows every single condo that's in an area. So if you know something really well, you will attract that market to come to you.
Yeah, be the go-to. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Those are good. All right, let's get to the harder questions.
Oh, goody.
That only an experienced agent, the advice only an agent that's experienced many, many years could give. Your thoughts on how to handle the following. So how much value does acreage specifically add to a listing? What might you want to consider also when pricing, let's say like two homes that are in the same town? They're both similar, but one sells quicker than the other. Like, what are your thoughts on why that might be?
Well, there's so many things that go with that. It's the first one, the acreage thing. If you look at the overall market, are there more home with acreage buyers, or are they more just all buying a subdivision buyers? So which one we got more of?
Right. Well, I guess it depends on which town too.
Well, let's just say our area, the Triangle area. Mm-hmm. Are there more buyers that want to buy, that will buy, not want to buy, but will buy in a subdivision? Or are there more buyers that will hold out for a home and acreage?
Oh, there's not much land left, so they'll buy in a subdivision.
So they'll buy in a subdivision. Mm-hmm. So that tells you something right there, that there's fewer buyers for the home that has acreage. All right, so then you get to the point, what is acreage going for in that area? Let's say acreage is going for $15,000 an acre, and let's say you've got 4 extra acres. Can you add $15,000 for those 4 extra acres? No, I don't think you can. I don't think an appraiser would do that, because you'd have to be able to build a house on those 4. So acreage, when it's packaged into a house, doesn't give you as much bang as just a pure acreage buy. So it is of more value to the right buyer. Right. But also appraisers are really rough on houses with a bunch of acreage. They rarely give them what they're really should be valued for. So that's an issue. So I think those things are, when I'm pricing 2 homes that are similar in the same town, there's so many things, guys. There's the timing of putting the house on the market. There's so much difference now. We're staring the first week in June. Is the first week in June as good as the first week in May? I would say that no, it's not, because you've got less market left before the market goes through a summer lull, which always happens in my world for the last 30-something years, the 4th of July. So the market slows down then. So timing matters. And there's always something that's different. What does that second home back up to? What do the neighbors look like? What's not in place? I always remember the people that have bought a house, and they bought a house in a nice subdivision, and back out there was a green, beautiful view. And then 4 years later, I come back and there's a whole bunch of little ticky-tacky houses. So they shot that view. Right. So you got to know what's in place around the house, the subject house that you're buying, before you can really tell which one is going to, because a savvy buyer is going to know those things.
Mm-hmm. That's very true. Mm-hmm. Very true. And you have seen so many market changes and just really, like, not just Raleigh, but so many different towns go through so many changes. So it all just depends, and really you need that experience and you need that market knowledge to be able to represent your clients the best way. Yeah. How about in a situation where you're out with a buyer, you see a home, you see a few major things that you know are going to need to be addressed. How do you handle that situation? Buyers want to put in an offer on the house, but how do you go ahead and handle that situation? Is it best to go ahead and put that, in an additional provisions addendum, or how would you handle that, or how do you handle that?
I think that depends on the type of market that you're working in at that point in time. Do you have a really strong seller's market? If you do, you want to keep that offer as clean as possible.
Yes.
So then you don't bring it up until that the point in the time through the inspections, and that puts the buyer much more in jeopardy. I agree. However, do we want to get the house, or do we want to fix the falling gutter? Mm-hmm. Those are things you have to have clean offers in a very strong seller's market. However, if you're 40 miles outside of the Triangle area from Cary or from Raleigh, maybe you can ask for that. And I'll tell you, the other great thing is just talk to the listing agent. Talk to them and make them your new best friend. Mm-hmm. And you can find out a lot by opening up that communication. Look at the days on the market. If the house is just on the market a week, you're going to ask for the falling gutter? No, probably not.
Yeah. How much do you want this house, buyer? No, I agree. You're always saying, our clients, we want to make them happy. They're not just a number, but also the agents on the other side, we're all working towards the same goal. So treat them like humans, and hopefully they do the same.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay. I'm not prepared.
Well, Martha is the queen of being prepared too. She's very detail oriented, which is a wonderful trait to have. But Martha, I want you to tell me about your most troublesome transaction.
Troublesome. It might actually have to do with the one we did recently. Nice. We all learned together. No, May is still ongoing. Hi, May. I don't think she watches internet, but we all learned about the underground oil tank, the process, actually that it's not as scary as you would think, that it's something, as long as there's open communication, that we all got it. The home sold, many months ago, and everyone's happy, hopefully. But it was just a lot of research, a lot of back and forth.
And then when you first hear about it, it's the end of the world.
Oh, absolutely. a lot of talking the client off the ledge, and also the agent, because the agent also didn't know anything either. So it was really just coming together and really mustering up every single bit of energy to get through it.
Right.
But yeah, I think that might be. I don't know. I'm sure there are others that we could think of. We've experienced a lot of different scenarios, and we're always learning. Real estate is, there's always things that in real estate that you'll learn from. So yeah, that's the one that comes to mind right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, good.
And how about handling objections when competing against listing agents that only charge 3% total commission, or
a lesser commission.
A lesser commission. Commissions are totally negotiable.
Yeah.
But how do you handle when client seller A says, well, this agent over here said they could sell my house for a lot less?
Folks, that's a business decision, and you're going to have to make that business decision. And I recommend that you make that business decision and don't deviate from it. And when you come across situations that go against that, there's lots of things that can happen when you go out to get a listing. You can get outbid on the price of the house. In other words, a seller just tells them the price they want to hear because they want to hear that. You can get a lower commission because the seller is not going to do anything except the 3 Ps of real estate. What are those 3 Ps?
3 Ps?
You don't know, Martha? They put a sign in the ground. They put the house in MLS, and they pray for a buyer. 3 Ps of real estate. And honestly, you're overpaying for that. And lots of sellers are overpaying for that. And if that's the only thing they're doing, no matter what commission you tell me, I probably say that you're overpaying for that.
Right.
So there's a lot more that is behind the scenes that honestly the consumers don't know about. They don't know about a database that you've worked on for over 20 years that tracks every single buyer that's in the market. That's not cheap. And you have to do that every month. So you have to be able to decide, first of all, make a business decision on whether you really want that business at the price that they're offering you. You offer them a number, you lay out what you do for that number, you can still get outbid. So you have to be okay to walk away from that.
Right. Are you going to hire a surgeon? Are you going to go to surgery with someone who?
Yeah, who you want your kid to get operated on?
Right.
A cut rate doctor that's going to give me a deal.
I'll do your surgery for $10.
That's it.
Right. Very true. And then we have another agent on our team that was wondering, with so much noise out there in the market, what should we focus on actually talking with our clients about to help them feel comfortable that now is the time to, purchase, get into that new home, or now is the time to list your home, sell your home?
This has always been a thing to me. Is now the time to sell? And it's almost never just a one-sided question, because most people that sell also buy. So maybe they buy at the beach, maybe they go buy into assisted living. There's another part to, should I sell right now? So I think you have to look at both parts. Because, I said this recently, and something I think now, as far as just investment-wise real estate, I think the strongest investment you could do is to downsize and then basically remodel a downsized property, because I think all the real estate, I'm going to say below 500,000, is disappearing from our market. So if you have the money to make that downsized home something really precious, in my opinion, you're going to have a great investment there. To sell again. So you always sell with the idea of what's it going to be like when I buy that house, but you never just are usually selling and going to rent an apartment. You usually sell with another. So what are the two parts together?
Right.
And focus on that next buy. Is the place you're going to a heck of a deal? Can you get a deal down there that will, that's going to balance things out. So focus on the next buy.
Okay. Yeah. Motivation. Yeah. What are the current trends that you are seeing in our local real estate market? How should we maybe adjust our strategies according to those trends to stay competitive and all that?
Well, I may be wrong, but I'm going to say that during the next year that we're going to see some fallout as far as number of agents. I think we've got like 16,000 agents in the Triangle now. And I think with the new laws of having to get buyers agency rep and get in writing your buy, I think you're going to see some fallout there. And then, of course, my famous statement is I should never say that I've got a lot of flack for. I'll probably have complaints. Y'all can send me complaints. Send them directly to Martha. And that's the statement I said years ago is that any little housewife can go and sell a house, but it takes a pro to build a listing business, a dynasty that has continuous listings coming in. So I think you're going to see some fallout. I think you're going to see some cut rate commissions, companies come and go over the next year or so. That's what you're going to see, because there's going to be fallout to new rules and new levels. But when we go through it, the level of our competency and hopefully we raise the level of all agents that work in this great industry.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, I think it'll be a much needed change. And what else do you say? Even a turkey can fly in a
hurricane.
I love it. All right. So that actually answered one of the other questions about kind of what you think of the market is going to pick up and everything, and how do you flow through those changes. I've
just tracked this market over 30 years. I've got that scale that I've showed you many times of where the market peaks at the end of June. The market for every one time, I think only 2 times in over 30 years has it peaked in July. And what can make the market peak is a sudden change in interest rates. So if something like that happens, all bets are off. But normally the market peaks at the end of June. That's the highest closing month. Then you got a summer lull. And this year we've got the wild card of the election. And who knows? I am not a soothsayer. I do not know. But it could make the market go too slow. It can make it go very slow because the market doesn't like uncertainty. You know, the real estate market is a lot like the stock market. However, the stock market is more positive. The stock market will move on a rumor, and real estate moves also, but you just don't see it the way that you just see the stock market go.
Yep. Yep. And you actually study. That's the difference, I think, with between you and other agents. You actually study the market historically. You love history, but you study the stats of it because we're not fortune tellers, and the market speaks. So,
you know, and another thing, though, I will tell you, though, is when you're closing 30 to 50 homes a month, which we have the honor and privilege to do, you can tell when the market changes in tempo. I've noticed that you might be negotiating very heavily for inspection repairs at the beginning of one month. By the end of that month, sellers are making no repairs.
Right. Yep.
So.
All right, some closing thoughts, and then, of course, opening it up to any questions that you guys out there would love to ask Marti. But in your experience, what mindset shifts or beliefs have had the most significant impact on your real estate career?
Well, I think that when you work with people, and you see some of the big things that they've done in real estate, it's going to affect you a couple different ways. Base ways, or you're jealous of that person. Or you might say to yourself, oh, they did it, but they had so many advantages. They knew so many people. Or you might say, well, it's possible. I could do it too. And so when you look at success through somebody else, I think that you got to put yourself in a frame of mind that draws the positive out of it.
I love that. Yep. And you're always trying to help others to be just as, or if even more successful as you are. You're just always a wealth of knowledge, and your door is always open. So I absolutely love that mindset. What are your long-term goals for Marti Hampton Real Estate? How do you plan to achieve?
I would like to work with agents who understand lead generation. I would like for every single agent, I'd like to work with a small group of agents that can really have the understanding of lead generation. Because if they really understood lead generation, you could take over whatever portion of the market you decided to do. So that would be kind of the SEAL team in real estate.
Powerhouse. And finally, and I do actually really like this question, how do you think other real estate companies see or view our team or EXP? What do you think their outside perspective is? Or even better yet, like, how do we want other real estate firms or teams to perceive us?
But it's almost impossible to figure out how other people see you, but I want them to see us as somebody that can close the deal. I want them to see when they've got an agent from our team that's giving them an offer. Okay, they know what they're doing. This is going to close. This is not something that's got a doubt to it. So that's one way you would want to see. Easy to work with. Somebody that's going to be trying to put together a deal instead of the pit bull tearing it off. So that's how I want them to look at us. I hope that they do.
Yeah, that's how I want everyone to look at us too, that we're capable, we're professional, but we'll treat you like you're part of the team, because we are. We're all part of that same team to help our clients. Thank you for everything that you instill in us and the family business that you've grown.
Oh, listen. Martha's going to sign off here, but we're going to stick around for your questions. I just want to tell you, she is a joy to work with, an absolute joy every single day. Her smile lights up the room, and she's a joy to work with. So if you've got any questions, we'd love to hear them.
All right, everybody. Yes, we do. Chat box is open, or you can DM us. Let me go from the top here. There's a couple that we covered already, but Charlie wants to know, can you walk us through a typical day in your life? What habits or routines do you follow to stay productive?
Well, I've got a routine at home that I do before I come to work that includes meditation, prayer, spiritual reading, and exercise. So I do that. I have a certain, little protein drink that I drink, get me all jazzed up. And then I put on my game face, come to the office, ready to do war.
What is that acronym? What is that acronym that you taught us?
What's that?
We both forgot. But it had to do with like meditation and exercise and diet and all that.
Meds, take your meds.
Take your meds, yes. That was it.
And just coming to work to move forward, to find a deal. Don't let your foot off the gas when you got a deal in the pipeline. You push. Yesterday's deal is over. It's history. It's what you're going to do today.
That's right.
So that's what I'm about.
Yeah.
Clem says, hello, Marty. I've enjoyed watching your show and admire your achievements in the up and down business. My question is about open houses going forward with the new rules. What do you plan to do when a customer shows up and wants to take a look without an agent?
Oh, that is a great question. And I don't know that I've got a definitive answer, but I know I'm going to be meeting with our listing team this month, and we'll decide that strategy. And I think a lot of other teams are going to be deciding on a strategy to handle buyers that come to an open house unrepresented. Of course, we have to let them know about representation at that point in time. So I think we have to have a strategy for if they're not represented, are they working with an agent? And we want to honor that if they've signed with another agent. If they haven't signed with another agent, that's the reason we've done the open house.
And here's our last question from Talia. What advice do you have for building and leading a high-performing real estate team?
Be in real estate for the long haul. This is not an overnight business. I think people think it's an overnight business and they get sorely disappointed. I was in trouble with the tax man for the first 8 years I was in business. And that's a lot of stress to be under. So be ready for the stress. Consider the stress when you're starting out your business as just part of the MO that you've got to push forward and you've got to go no matter that there's stress there. So be in it for the long haul. You won't do it overnight, but you can do it faster if you listen to people and you're around the right people.
Don't recreate the wheel.
That's it. All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming by. Martha, thank you for
Thank
helping me out today.
Thank you. And here, you can't see this because I couldn't print it correctly, but this is Happy Birthday, Dave. He's the guy that's always behind our camera, working so hard. Can you even see this?
No,
but
I can't.
A faceless voice.
One of the things we need him for is to be able to freaking print. But so happy birthday, Dave. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, Marty.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for coming by. We'll see you again soon. See you next Thursday.